Welcome to the Switch Style Podcast, where we encourage you to think beyond what you hear. I'm your host, Smooth, and joining me tonight, as always, are Vaughn and Riggs. Vaughn, what up?
What's up, Smooth? How are you today?
I'm great. Glad to see you.
Good to be seen.
Of course. Riggs, what up, man?
What's going on, man? How's everybody?
Great. No complaints here. Audience, welcome back. This is actually episode 46 of the Switch Style Podcast. And we got a great show coming up for you tonight. We're going to update the charts for you, let you know what's coming out this Friday, February 17th. We're going to finish our Grammy well, it's not a preview anymore. We're going to actually recap the Grammys. And we're reviewing DROGAS Light by Lupe Fiasco. But before we do all of that, we definitely want to acknowledge one of music's great heroes, one of music's great legends, one of the greatest talents of all time, regardless of genre, and that's Al Jarreau. And I'll go ahead and pass it along to Riggs and let him talk about it more.
Yeah, we're sorry to hear about Al Jarreau's passing, and for me personally, man, the memories in my family that are tied to Al Jarreau songs is it goes deep. My father loved Al Jarreau. I could see him dancing around, and all of us kids. When certain songs would come on, when you were singing "Wake Up, Mr. Radio," "Hello, Mr. Cheerio," all of that, just happy vibes, fun vibes. All his music was very, positive, and the way he did Take 5, he could do things with his voice that not just mimic, instruments, but just added something extra to him.
I agree.
And then somebody who took scatting and from it's big time roots in the early 40s to bring it to even now. Definitely a legend. Songs like Fly, just beautiful songs. The songs he sang to his wife, to his kids, and just was created a soundtrack for many people's lives. All the artists that he's worked with, and he's well loved. And it's tragic. His past album was an album that was a tribute to George Duke, who had passed. Was it about a year and a half ago? And now his passing, it's tragic. Hate to see it, but you get this. He went to hospital for exhaustion, and then died later. But at least he really did pursue his dream and touch lives, and died doing what he loved to do.
Yeah, you're right. I agree, because he was just about to retire too, right?
He was about to make an announcement, and just like that, it's gone.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And Vaughn, did you have anything on Al Jarreau?
It's a sad loss for the music community.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I just want to share this with you guys really quick. My fondest memory, my earliest memory of Al Jarreau was actually me being in the band, and we played one of his biggest hits, Black and Blue.
Oh, okay.
And that was probably one of the favorite songs, one of my favorite songs that we would play. And there was this run in Black and Blue, and it was all triplets, and it was one of my favorite things to play. So that's probably my fondest memory of Al Jarreau. But rest in peace, Al Jarreau, as Medea called him, Al Jarreau. Al Jarreau.
Al Jarreau.
I don't know nothing about that Al Jarreau.
Al Jarreau.
And Riggs, you want to close it out?
Yeah, just condolences to his family. He definitely will be missed. Of course, people who just listen to his music and have been touched, and don't feel anything like you feel, but we all do feel something. It's an honor to be close to somebody who's touched the world. So, don't revel in the pain, just, appreciate the honor. So, condolences, and there you have it.
All right. Well, rest in peace, Al Jarreau. And audience, if you're not familiar with Al Jarreau, please go pick up any and all of his work, because it's definitely worth hearing.
Well, I'll tell you, my favorite Al Jarreau album is All Fly Home.
There you go. Riggs gave you one, All Fly Home, and I'm sure it's somewhere around here if I look around.
It is 2 copies.
2 copies. Riggs probably won't give you one, but
right.
He just wants to let you know he got 2 copies. But again, audience, welcome back to the Switch Style Podcast. And we'll, like I said earlier, we'll go ahead and update the charts for you, let you know what's new, finish our Grammy Awards show recap, and we'll actually review DROGAS Light by Lupe Fiasco. But before we do that, if you like what you hear, please go subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, and YouTube, all at
Switch Style Podcast.
And also follow us on Facebook,
Instagram,
and
Twitter.
All right, here we go. So let's go ahead and update the charts real fast. On the Billboard 200, Big Sean's I Decided hits number 1, earning, there you go, 151,000 units, 65,000 were traditional album sales. You guys excited about Big Sean?
Yeah. I am so happy for him. So happy. Like I told y'all last week after we got off air, I said I enjoyed reviewing his album. And I am so glad to see him number 1 on the Billboard 200. Congratulations.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is one of my favorite reviews that we've done.
Yeah, and I'm glad you guys mentioned that because I got a lot of great feedback last week. And I had 2 people tell me specifically that you guys' review was so good that I wanted to actually go out and buy the album.
Oh.
Okay, well, let's hope they did go out and buy the album.
Yeah.
I don't know if they did, but they told me they wanted to.
Well,
I don't know if
thank
they
you,
did.
guys. Thank you.
Yeah, so shout out to Miss Shyla and of the Epiphany Suite and one of my good time, well, not good time, but one of my long time friends, Miss Angie Bailey. So thank you both, ladies. And also to note, this is Big Sean's second number 1 album. 2015's Dark Sky Paradise also topped the chart, earning 173,000 units, and 139,000 of those were traditional album sales. And also, Reba McEntire's Sing It Now, Songs of Faith and Hope arrived at number 4, earning 54,000 units, 52,000 in traditional album sales. So, any other quick thoughts on the 200?
Not mad at Reba.
Yeah, she's keep doing it. And that was actually her first religious album. So, yeah, she's segued or transitioned into another genre. So, congrats, Reba, as well. And on the Hot 100, Ed Sheeran's Shape of You earns a third week at number 1. And audience, if you hadn't heard Shape of You, he actually performed it on the Grammys. He actually had the foot beat machine.
And did everything.
Yeah, he created the beat right there on stage. But that's actually it for...
And the video is hot.
I hadn't seen the video.
The video is hot.
But I'll definitely check it out. But that's it for chart news. And we'll actually jump on to find out what's new. But before we do that, again, go subscribe to the podcast. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, and YouTube, all at
Switch Style Podcast.
And also check us out on Facebook,
Instagram,
and
Twitter.
All right, let's find out what's coming out this Friday, February 17th. So look out for Alison Krauss, the country star. She's back with her latest Windy City. And if you listened to the show a couple weeks ago, we told you that Alison Krauss is actually she's actually the woman with the most Grammy wins of all time with 27. So shout out to Alison Krauss. And also Charlie Wilson, he's back with his latest, In It to Win It.
Uncle Charlie.
Uncle Charlie. And last but not least, this news was actually announced today, I believe. Hip-hop star, trap star, whatever you want to call him, Future. He's back with his latest. It's been probably a while. It's a little bit longer by Future standards. But he'll be back with his latest album this Friday as well. So check out those 3. And you guys expect anybody to debut at number 1 specifically?
Well, you already said Alison. She already one of the top. So she probably will. But I think maybe Charlie Wilson on the other side.
Yeah, possibly.
Two different.
I doubt that, seriously.
I'm saying, like, he might get good sales on.
I hope
she
so.
Gonna win, but she's gonna get it. But he'll probably get good sales from.
Yeah, I have hope. I hope that
the other side.
He's kind of gotten into when he first came back out. I mean, boy, he was hot.
Yeah, he was hot.
Yeah.
Came out first with Snoop, and then R. Kelly, hooked him up, and all of that. So I hope. Not necessarily reinvented himself, but I hope he did some things just a little bit different to make him, give him that appeal.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll actually find out in a few weeks. We're actually putting him on a back burner. There's a few more albums that we'll get to before him, most notably Thundercat, Ed Sheeran, and Sampha. So we'll talk about Charlie. It'll probably be in March. But honestly, I think Future is actually going to debut at number 1 next week. And I can almost call it a lock right now.
Okay.
They hadn't put out any projections, but I think he'll debut at number 1. And just to note, Alison Krauss or Charlie Wilson, neither one of them have ever had a number 1 album. at least a Billboard 200 number one.
Okay.
I mean, you got to give it to a dude who could do auto-tunes without auto-tunes.
Yeah, Future. Yeah, Future is a guy that had, I want to say he had about 2 or 3 number one albums in 18-month stretch. With Evol, it was What a Time to Be Alive, and the album before Evol, and that was probably a year or two back. But that's it. So let's actually jump into this Grammy recap. So let's actually acknowledge some of the notable Grammy winners. So Adele was a big winner. She took home 5 awards, including 3 out of the big 4. Well, she was nominated for the last big 4, but Song of the Year, Album of the Year, and Record of the Year. Beyonce, disappointingly, she only earned 2 Grammy Awards, Best Urban Contemporary Album and
Best Video.
Yep, for Formation.
They had to give it her that.
Yeah, they had to give her something. Chance earned 3 Grammys, most notably Best New Artist and Best Rap Album. David Bowie, and audience, I don't know where you've been, if you don't know, David Bowie is no longer with us. He actually passed, so posthumously, he was actually awarded 4 Grammys, and there was an additional win for the album itself. So congrats to David Bowie, the Chainsmokers, and Daya. And I'll actually go to some lesser-known artists. One of Riggs' favorites, Snarky Puppy.
Oh, and don't forget about Gregory Porter, too.
Yeah,
Those
Gregory
2
Porter.
are my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boy.
Gregory Porter. And William Bell. We didn't talk about him in depth, but the Stax legend, I think he actually lives here in Atlanta now. He earned his first Grammy for his album, This Is Where I Live. Bobby Rush, all you blues fans, he got his first win. Fantastic Negrito, he won for Best Contemporary Blues Album. That was his first win. And Don Cheadle, the actor Don Cheadle, I can't rattle off a ton of his movies, but he's been in the last couple of Iron Man movies and the Avengers movies and
Adam
Crash.
Sandler, Reign Over Me. It wasn't a huge flick, but his acting in it was pretty good.
But the latest, Miles Ahead, was the one he actually won the Grammy for, the soundtrack. And just a quick nugget, Don Cheadle is actually a pretty good trumpet player, from what I understand.
Wow.
Yeah, he'd been playing for 7 years before they started talking about the movie, and he'd been wanting to do, a movie on Miles. So
congrats to them. I also want to point out Tamla Mann. She actually won her first Grammy, gospel superstar Tamla Mann. Her and Kirk Franklin won for Best Gospel Performance or Song, God Provides.
You love to see somebody who's been, successful around their, immediate peers, and, who everybody feels that they should have already have won, awards, to just go ahead and get what they deserve.
Right. Yeah, she's definitely long overdue because she was singing with Kirk.
A long time.
Back in the 90s when Kirk first started. Yeah. She was in Kirk Franklin and the Family, so congrats, Tamla. And she also performed with Chance.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
So let me ask you guys, did you all have any favorite performances the other night? Vaughn, what about you?
I think everyone did a good job. I really do. B, of course. Adele, I was a little salty. But she did good. She did good. Busta Rhymes and Tribe Called Quest. I like that.
Yeah, your boy Consequence was up there.
Yeah, I saw him. I just started laughing. All of them were good. I miss Gaga and Metallica. I missed that, but I heard it was a mess anyway. Right.
They cut his mic off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed that. So, I thought all the performances was good. Beyonce, she put a lot of work into hers.
She did.
A lot of work. And I knew she wasn't going to get up and jump around and all that stuff.
What was up with that chair, though?
Yeah, that chair.
That
chair was a little scary, but I'm quite sure they had that all figured out.
Yeah, I don't know how they did it.
Yeah, but it was all figured out. So I enjoyed it.
Riggs, what about you?
They're going to use that for her birthing chair.
Yeah, they might. They might.
That was because
they coming. She looked like she
perfect too.
She looks like she's a lot further along than most people thought.
But when you carrying twins,
that's right.
Yeah, you carrying twins, you're gonna look big.
Damn, Blue Ivy got to split the money.
Oh, you so silly. And she was so cute.
Much to split. I mean,
with her little Prince
the
suit on. I was like, look at her. She was so cute.
Riggs, what about you? You have any favorite? performances.
Speaking on what she said, I'm glad they showed Blue Ivy, and I'm glad, she's a cute little girl. Everybody kept making jokes about what the baby gonna look like, with Jay-Z big lips, this and that, whatever. But
they need to stop it.
Yeah, precious little baby.
Yeah, she's looking more like her mom every day.
Actually, she looks like a good combination. But
she does, because she has like Jay-Z's cheeks.
But she got a good combination, everything.
And she's not shy at all.
No, she's not.
Not even a little bit.
She couldn't be.
Right.
But those, Jay-Z and Beyonce as your parents, can't be.
But most of the time, sometimes it don't work that way. They'll be, and then, you'll be like, why you not? You'll be like, we so outgoing. Why is our child like this? But, yeah, she ain't shy. She don't have a shy bone.
And it's funny. In my opinion, I think Beyonce and Jay, I think they're more so introverts than anything.
Because Beyonce is shy.
Yeah.
She'll tell you, I'm a quiet person. She was like, she just turned into Sasha Fish when she go in on the stage. But otherwise, she's a shy person.
So, Riggs, that was all of your favorites?
Well, the performances overall, they were like Vaughn said, they were pretty good. I don't think there was anything that was so amazing or whatever.
Right.
To me personally, Beyonce's performance was a little weird. She sounded awesome and she looked great. Well, the performance was a little weird to me, but hey, that's B, do your thing.
What you think about Bruno? Did you like Bruno, the Prince? But I like Bruno, and
Bruno's a bad boy.
Yes, and I liked his when he did his song "Move."
That's what I like.
Yeah, that's what I like. Yeah,
Bruno, he's one of those dudes. I don't think he will ever have a bad performance when it comes to any type of award show, Super Bowl, whatever. He's gonna turn it out.
I think it's his smile too. Like his smile make you just.
It's his whole vibe, his whole swagger, his energy.
Yeah.
And he's talented, and he sounds just like he's supposed to.
Yeah.
That don't happen always.
You're right. Yeah, he does an amazing job, and there was a ton of them. But first off, I gotta shout out Alicia Keys.
Oh yeah, Alicia.
Yeah, she came out in that cat suit, whatever the thing was.
Like Alicia.
Yeah, I have a slight obsession with Alicia Keys. But outside of the way she looked, the performance was amazing. Her and Maren Morris. I always say her name wrong. Maren Morris. Maren Morris can blow. Like she's very impressive. And Riggs told us that a couple weeks ago, audience. If you've listened, he's told us that before. But Gary Clark Jr. and William Bell, I got to shout out my homeboy. I got to keep shouting them out. But I love Tribe's performance. The Weeknd, I still want to see more from Weeknd. I'm still not really impressed with him live. Katy Perry, I
enjoyed Katy Perry too.
Her and Skip Marley. I got to find out where Skip falls in the family tree. I don't know if he's somebody's son. He has to be one of their sons. I'm not sure who, but I
can't remember because we went over one of the Marley's albums, and he had a son that performed, and I'm thinking that's his son, the one that's in Miami. What's his name?
Damien or Ziggy?
No, it's neither one of those. Not Damien, not Ziggy.
Steven?
I believe so.
Steven? Okay.
I believe that's probably Steven's son.
Yeah, it's so many of those Marleys. And speaking of Katy Perry,
don't quote me on that, but
yeah, we'll find it. We'll get some information for you. But speaking of Katy Perry, I can't wait for her album to come out. I'm actually really interested to see what her album sounds like. But the Bee Gees tribute, what Adele did on Fast Love, that was my first time hearing Fast Love. I hadn't heard George Michael's version, but you weren't crazy about it. So you weren't feeling Adele at all last night. But that was it for me as far as the performances go. But Vaughn, were you surprised by any of the wins?
Yeah. I thought B was going to get the album of the year. I wanted her to. But I'm happy for Adele, and I appreciate Adele shouting out B. She even brought tears to her eyes. And y'all don't know, but when you pregnant, you get emotional real fast. So I think she just started, crying.
I know. No, I didn't get the emotion, but I felt it.
Yeah.
But I appreciate her for doing that, for, shouting out B and was like, you're one of my favorites. I love you. So, and I think B really felt that. She really felt that.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. And I want to just say this to the audience. A lot of people wanted to call it a racial win. They wanted to make it a race thing. And me personally, I don't think it's about race.
No.
And reason is because there's a voting system in place. And just like when people didn't show up to vote in the presidential election,
people don't show up. Right.
The same thing happened with the Recording Academy. And so, audience, just to give you some insight on the Recording Academy and how things work. To be a member of the Recording Academy, you actually have to make music. You have to either have 6 commercially distributed tracks,
wow,
which means physically, or you have to have 12 digitally released tracks. So in order to vote on these records, you have to make music. You have to be
relevant.
A peer. Yeah, pretty much. And another stipulation is one of those tracks has to be released within the last 5 years.
Okay.
And on top of that, there's only a $100 fee. So all of you artists out there, you know, Jay-Z, Kanye West, Frank Ocean, The Weeknd, everybody that was involved in the making of Lemonade, I'm sure you have at least 6 credits out there. Mm-hmm. If you're not a member of the Recording Academy, you should be. Because there were over 100 people involved in the making of Beyonce's album. Mm-hmm. And there were a lot of votes, and I can bet a lot of those people aren't members of the Recording Academy. But Beyonce had the best album. It was the most versatile album, and it was evidenced in the nominations. Mm-hmm. She had a R&B nomination. Formation was nominated in a pop category. So it was the more versatile album. And the rollout, you can't deny the rollout. She put so much effort into the rollout. I mean, she released an album on Saturday night behind a video for every single song.
Right.
Adele pretty much won this thing off of one single and 10 plus million album sold. And to be honest, this is not even Adele's best album. This is really her. She doesn't have a bad album, but out of the 3 albums, this definitely in her best. But audience, don't make it a racial thing, because it's not. I think we need more transparency when it comes to the Recording Academy. They should give us a vote, to be honest.
Right. For the people out there like Jay-Z and like you said, all them, they need to be involved.
Yeah, because it's simple.
But you know how some of our people are, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. As many, go ahead.
I like the fact that Solange got the best R&B performance.
Yes,
yeah. We called it.
Did.
It was a clean sweep.
Mm-hmm.
Clean sweep, right?
I was happy about that. Now, what happened with did Tamla Mann win in this category with Ultralight Beam?
Nah, she just won in the gospel category.
So Ultralight Beam didn't get nothing.
I didn't.
Looked. Yeah, I looked.
That was probably one of the more flagrant snubs of the night. Like, Drake won for best rap song performance and best rap song.
Yeah.
For
Hotline Bling.
Like,
and I love my boy Drake, but it's overrated. It's I love him.
Right, and I felt bad mostly for Fat Joe and Remy Ma, because I felt like
they was hot. Yeah, like.
So I felt like they should have won, and I felt like Ultralight Beam should have got something. I just didn't. If Drake won, but he was nominated for, I think, 8 awards, so they had to give him something, and I think that was the only reason he got something, in my opinion. And Lucas Graham was another one. I think they definitely got some. They definitely had the best song, the song of the year.
Necessarily have to. Michael Jackson, when he first came out with Off the Wall, he was nominated about the same amount of times, didn't win a thing. And he said, when I come out with my next joint, it's gonna be crazy. He came out with Thriller, so I think the Grammy people should look at that, and if you're nominated, I mean you gotta force them to do better.
Right, you definitely got to do so. You know what? I don't know about Riggs and Vaughn, but I'm calling out the Recording Academy. Like, whoever's involved, we need more transparency. I want to know who's on these boards, who's making these decisions, and audience, just a bit of inside information. I'd have confirmed that Rodney Jerkins and Kim are members of one of the board of trustees.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, on the Recording Academy. And, I would hope that Rodney Jerkins and Kim, they both voted for Beyonce. You never know.
You never know, yeah.
You never know, but in Rodney Jerkins specifically, because he produced one of her best songs, in my opinion. A lot of them, be honest. 7 years, I was kind of hurt that one didn't win anything.
Yeah, it's a good song. Talked about your boy Maxwell.
Oh, yeah,
we picked that one. We picked another. I mean, if you go back and listen, we picked most of the Grammys. I think the only ones we missed out on were
the ones that Drake won.
Yeah, exactly. And probably maybe the general categories, because I didn't expect Adele to make it a clean sweep.
Right.
That was probably the most unexpected thing of the whole night. But go ahead.
We did say for most of them though that when she was nominated for a few of them, that we didn't necessarily think that she maybe should have won it, but we kind of knew that she would.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But, neither here or there, congratulations, Adele. To sell 10 million is impressive, but this is my analogy. McDonald's, they sell a lot of burgers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just because you sell a lot of burgers, that doesn't mean you have the best burger.
And that's for real, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's 100.
I hear you.
So that's my analogy. But, congratulations, Adele. She single-handedly propped the industry up in late 2015 to come out and sell 3.3 million in the first week. It's hard to deny. But if I was B, I would never show up to the Grammy Awards again if I'm her. But she's a class act and she won't do that. But
yeah.
But you guys have anything else on the Grammys? All right, cool. Well, we'll actually jump into the DROGAS Light album review by Lupe Fiasco. But before we do that, again, if you like what you hear, please go follow us and subscribe to the podcast everywhere on iTunes, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, and YouTube, all at
Switch Style Podcast.
And also follow us on Facebook,
Instagram,
and
Twitter.
All right, so audience, here we go again. If you're not familiar with any of our album reviews, that's pretty much all we do now. We like to give you a quick bio. We just want to tell you a little bit about the artist before we jump into anything, just to give you some background, and it also helps you make sense of everything that we're saying. So here we go. Lupe Fiasco, his real name is Wasalu Muhammad Jocko.
All right now.
He was born February 17th. His birthday is actually Friday in 1982. So what does that make him? He's 35 years old. He was born in Chicago, Illinois. As a kid, he was a member of a group named The Pack. They were signed to Epic Records and they only released one single and then they split up. And then as a solo artist, he was then signed to Arista Records by then President L.A. Reid, who was fired shortly after. And this fun, I just gotta say this. L.A. Reid was fired after the same year after he had Speakerboxx Love Below. That sold 10 million. Usher came out that next year or that same year. Confessions did 10 million and L.A. Reid got fired after all of that. Just a bunch of politics, but I'll go back to Lupe. So after signing to Atlantic Records, he released his debut album Food and Liquor in 2006 and his sophomore effort The Cool followed in 2007. So to date, Lupe's career accolades include 11 Hot 100 hits, including Out of My Head, The Show Goes On, Superstar, and Kick Push, 6 studio albums, all of which peaked inside the top 5 of Billboard's top R&B hip-hop albums chart, and the 2007 Grammy for Best Urban Alternative Performance for Daydreaming with my girl, and Vaughn's girl, and Riggs' girl, the lovely, talented Jill Scott. There you go. She could, if she wanted to, she could be my wife. That's how much I love Jill Scott. So, I can't wait till we talk about Jill Scott. But let's go ahead and jump into this thing. So, Rick, what was your first experience with Lupe Fiasco?
Kick Push, and then was it Glide or whatever?
Yeah. I had to listen to that thing again. I was like, all right now.
Yeah, when that first came out, that was right up my alley. It
was hot.
Big Tribe fan, big native tongue, big all that music that's dirty backpack influenced by jazz and just a laid back cool. So yeah, he was dope when he first came out from the start.
Vaughn, what about you? What was your first experience?
My first experience was Kick Push, and of course when he was with Jill Scott, Daydreaming. So yep, that was my first time.
Yeah, and I'll make it a clean sweep. The trifecta. Kick Push was also my first experience with Lupe Fiasco, and I'm not sure. I want to say, I think Touch the Sky, Kanye West track off the Late Registration album, I think that preceded the Food and Liquor album, but I think that might have been the first time I heard Lupe, but Kick Push might have came out around the same time, because I think the album was leaked. If I remember right, in Atlantic, they kind of hurried up and put it out, but we'll have to check on that. But Kick Push and Food and Liquor was an amazing album. Vaughn, I'll go back to you. What do you think about Lupe's new trap music?
Well, I had to make sure that I had the right definition of trap music, and I did. I did. It was different. I think I'm used to him, the way he go with Kick Push. It seemed like all his other stuff was more in that line. So it was different.
Riggs, what about you? What do you think about Lupe's new sound, the new trap?
I like part of a sound, the part that sounds closest to what you're kind of known for. But the other stuff, I don't think it fits him the best.
I agree.
And I don't think different people could, like, we spoke earlier before the show, can get on and do like, a trap flow, but they're still like, very much themselves and very much, have their niche, their sound, whatever within it. And I think he goes a little bit too far away from his sound. And that's not to pigeonhole anybody, but
yeah, you're right. And I agree with you, Riggs. I'm all about growth and experimentation and trying different things. And I commend Lupe for going out and doing that, but all the time the results don't always work out the way you expect them to. And when I first heard the album, it was a huge surprise for me. I didn't expect Lupe to come out and sound like he was from Atlanta.
Right, and that's what I was going to say. Most of the time, trap music is more the southern. Here, Chi-Town, he from Chicago, so that's kind of like a different type of flow. So that's why I was like, ooh, okay. I know I'm used to the dirty. So.
Well, I'm proud that, the South has kind of pushed their boundaries and influenced all, like a lot of stuff that's coming out of New York. I wouldn't expected them to, be so hard on that southern flow. But hey, it works. So, but Lupe, like the second half of the album was a lot more enjoyable to me.
Yeah, he lost me towards the end.
Towards the end,
he got a couple of songs that's like, but then he got a couple of songs too where it's got like a rock kind of dance joint to it.
Yeah, like I felt that too. Like,
but he a couple of them he really flows with them, and even actually with some of the trap stuff, he does come in and out of being like that Lupe that you know and you love, and rides those tracks and has similar type of lyrics that you use you like. But hey,
well, Riggs, what about this? Does he successfully pull off trap music? Can he? And we know he's a skilled rapper. He's been around for well longer than 10 years. He signed one of his first deals before he was 20 years old. So he's been around a long time. But did he make a successful transition to a trap rapper?
It's like a seamstress that makes cocktail dresses and then switches over to making wedding gowns. They can do it, but that's not what you go to them for.
Exactly.
They want more of a pencil skirt type of thing,
Mm-hmm.
not all the, they could do it, but it's not their thing so much.
You're right. I agree. That was a great analogy.
Stay in your lane.
The perfect way to put it. Lupe, stay in your lane. And it's funny, even when he tries to pull off the trap flow, it sounds so awkward at certain moments during the album. And I'm gonna be honest with you, and no disrespect to all you trap rappers out there, but Lupe is too smart. He's too intelligent to be a trap rapper. And audience, when you hear this album, Lupe, he still spits the normal knowledge that we've come to know him for.
In most songs.
Yeah, in most songs. And perfect example, made in the USA.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
This is like, to give you guys another analogy, this is the smart kid in the class making a D on his test just so that he won't get picked on by the rest of the kids. This is exactly what it is. And audience, when you hear the chorus on Made in the USA, it's probably one of the most intelligent songs you'll hear. But the hook goes, made in a USA, made in a USA. It's the trap flow. But the song speaks about everything that's made in the USA, all of the things that we consider our ills, the things that kind of plague us, to, for lack of a better word, phrase, or the things that we become so consumed by, and the things that can be detrimental to us. That's the best way to say it. And in that song, he talks about the first line. He bought his gun from Smyrna, Georgia. And audience, if you listen to us, we record from Atlanta, and Glock, the company that makes the Glocks, the guns, pow, 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 they're based right here in Smyrna, Georgia. And honestly, we're probably about, Riggs, 20 miles from Smyrna?
Yeah.
So, and it's funny because I applied for a job at Glock.
Oh, wow.
Probably about 5 or 6 years ago.
And for the rest of the country that doesn't know, gun laws are not the same in every state and every city. When I came to Georgia and I went to an Ace Hardware store, And the back of that Ace hardware store, they had hardware from floor to ceiling, from left to right, any kind of gun you wanted. So things are a little different here. But don't act crazy when you come here because everybody got them.
Yeah. Everybody got them.
Everybody got them. Everybody got them. So, Vaughn, let me ask you this. Do you think, and we've already said that we don't like what he's doing with the trap music, but do you think he's making a mockery of trap music?
No, I think he was serious.
Oh, wow. I think he was serious. Riggs, what about you?
No, I don't think he's making a mockery. He's got trap dudes in his songs. He got features.
Yes, he does.
So, and I'm pretty sure he vibes with them pretty hard. And I don't think I'm not mad at him. I think he sincerely went in the studio and wanted to make a good album, an album that was successful, an album that's it's got the style of music that people are like. That's what they want right now. But there's just a way to do it, and I think he could have done something similar, but he just didn't do it the way maybe he should have.
And I wonder how his Chicago people going to take to this. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think they'll probably be all right because there's a lot of different levels of Chicago rappers. You have Kanye West, Common, who's always conscious, and Lupe falls into that conscious rap as well. You have Chance, and then you have guys like Chief Keef, who's I don't know where this current situation is. I don't know if he's in jail right now or I don't know what. I'm not the biggest Chief Keef fan, but you have Vic Mensa. So there's a lot of an assortment of styles that come out of Chicago. So I think a lot of people will look at it in Chicago because I don't know if they like trap music in Chicago. I don't know, but we'll see.
Like trap music everywhere.
Yeah, they do because Panda, designer, is from Brooklyn, New York. So I don't know if it's but we would just leave it at New York. But my theory on DROGAS Light was that I think Lupe, this was a cry for attention, in my opinion. I think his thing was, let me rap over some trap beats in hopes that they like what I'm saying because this is what the younger generation is into.
True.
Hopefully they'll like the beats, and while they're listening to the beats, they'll actually listen to what I'm saying, and maybe they can actually pick up or learn some things. Because I'm going to be honest, audience, you can actually learn a lot of stuff on this album. Like I found myself picking up a dictionary quite often while listening to this album. And while we're on that, Riggs, what are some of your favorite songs?
Kill, Tranquilo. I even like, More Than My Heart. And, we'll hold on the whole trap thing, but the second half of the album is really not trap at all.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right.
It was.
But now when you first pick it up, you do get hit with a lot of trap.
Yes.
Those are my favorite songs. the rest, they're good. I'm not saying they're bad. There's at least another 4 songs on there that are pretty good. But overall, it's a decent album. I would suggest it to maybe a couple of people. I wouldn't go tell everybody, everybody get it, because, I might lose friends.
But yeah,
because it might be a song that you might just be like, oh, you know what, you need to listen to that song. That song for you. Right.
And there's, like you said, Vaughn, there's probably 2 or 3 of those on this album that you, and not to skip ahead to recommendations, but Vaughn, tell me some of your favorite songs.
Kill. Oh, that's hot. Tranquilla. Is it that Tranquilla?
Yeah, Tranquilo. Or
Tranquilo.
However he says it.
And More Than My Heart and Doberman Lit. Those were.
That's it.
It was kind of all over. And I must say, he got some features on his. Jake Torrey is on here. So he got some different type of people on here. Rick Ross, Ty
like
Dolla.
Rick Ross on.
That's hot. Rando. So he got quite a few different type of people. It's like he got featured almost on every song.
On his last album, Teto and Youth, he had a lot of features on that as well. But for me personally, my favorite songs are really, I only have one song that I just highly enjoyed.
Kill.
Yeah, and that was Kill. Like, audience, if you hear Kill is a song for the strippers.
Yeah.
Just be honest. And I know we've talked about strippers quite often, and I've mentioned that I've visited some strip clubs. I don't frequent strip clubs, but I've visited a few, but Kill is an amazing song. Ty Dolla $ign pretty much anchors the entire song. It's really mid-tempo, and a lovely singer by Victoria Monet. She's beautiful as well. She's written a lot of things, most notably for Ariana Grande, and she's currently on tour with Ariana Grande, Victoria Monet. But Kill was one of my favorites. NGL stands for Ends Gonna Lie. Ends Gonna Lose. Yeah. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. But the concept,
the lyrics in it,
is
hot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, lyrically, the moral of it was pretty much, he talked about everything from the high rate of jail convictions in the black community. Mm-hmm. He also mentions people's love of Scarface, which I love that he said that, because people, well, I can't just say black people, but Scarface is held in such high esteem. But Scarface was one of the most ignorant characters that I've seen in movie history, and I just never understood why people love Scarface so much. He wasn't a smart guy at all. He was a cokehead, and for that reason, one of those reasons, that's why he's dead. The coke actually kept him alive a little bit longer than he should have been, because there's no way you can get shot up that many times and still live.
If you ain't on something.
You want to mess with me?
Right.
Right. I mean, he getting shot and still snorting coke. Come on, Tony. But NGL was a great song, and he also talked about the dangers of legalizing weed in NGL, and it's funny because he pretty much was saying that people are so interested in legalizing weed, but what is it going to do to the black market once weed becomes legalized and the government starts to regulate the sale of weed? What are you going to do then? You're not going to be able to sell weed anymore on the black market. You won't be able to get it. So that was something really interesting, and Made in the USA, I did mention that. And Jump was one of my favorites.
Okay.
He told his story about Susie Uzi.
Yes. And he told a story.
Yeah, he told a story on that one. He
told a complete story.
And the gist of it was Lupe was driving in his car, and this drug dealer and killer, a woman named Susie Uzi, jumped in his car, and she pretty much told him, like, I know you, Lupe. I want you to write these songs for me. You gonna be my ghostwriter, essentially. And if you don't do it, I'm gonna blow your head off. I'm gonna kill you. So, and they ended up getting shot at by some other people that was chasing Susie Uzi. And somehow they end up in Saturn. I mean, the story gets kind of outlandish, but while they get on, not Saturn, but somewhere outer space, and while they're in outer space, Susie Uzi actually starts to rap. And Lupe is like, why do you have me here? Why didn't you tell me you rap? Because we're pretty much wasting time while we're here. But that was pretty much it. And that last one about moms, More Than My Heart.
Yes. Yeah. And he told some tight lyrics in that, like just sound like a real black mother.
Yeah.
And actually, I like Law too.
Law got a kind of.
Yeah, Law was a good one. And I mean, there's some solid songs on this album. Comparing this one to the one we reviewed last week, Big Sean, I wouldn't recommend Lupe's album. I would rather recommend Big Sean's album. But there's a certain intelligence that you get from Lupe that you're not going to get from Big Sean.
But there's a heart that you get from Big Sean, though.
Right. And this leads to my next question. Riggs, and I don't know if I said it earlier, but this is Lupe's first independent album. He actually had a 5-album deal with Atlantic Records, and it ended with Tetsuo and Youth. So let me ask you this, and we talked about the sort of the inconsistencies within the album. Do you think he would have benefited from signing another deal with a major label?
Well, I would have to say that's kind of like a yes, no, and a maybe. You know, that sounds crazy. It depends on where you land. You can land somewhere and they have all the best intentions and they have successes behind them, but then when they get you and they say, well, this is what we see for you. And you're
that's
like,
where that
whoa,
control
that's
is.
not me at all. I don't want to do that, you know. Whether you want to do it or not, sometimes it'll work, sometimes it really won't. So it's kind of a crapshoot. I think personally, he should probably just listen to our review, learn from it, and go from there. When it comes, we were talking earlier about getting produced and stuff like that. If you don't have the big budget, you know, you have to kick and push, get on them streets and find those young dudes who are hungry and who are hot and have maybe even a sound that we haven't even heard yet.
You're right.
And just make a complete idea, complete concept, with your album. And if you're gonna use something like a trap flow, be creative with it. Don't sound just like these other dudes, even though your lyrics are above theirs. But if you don't want to really listen to it like that because it's you doing that, then, it's whatever.
Vaughn, what about you? Do you think he would have benefited from being with another major label?
I think it all goes back to freedom, and he wanted that freedom, so that's why he's doing trap music, because they put you in a box. You hear everybody say that they want you to do what they want you to do, and he did what he wanted to do, and he wanted to do trap music.
You're absolutely right, and it's all about freedom. And I can't think of that Chance quote when he accepted the first Grammy, the Best New Artist Grammy. He pretty much said that people want to be independent because they think you're going to be by yourself, but I think he said that being independent means that you get to make your own choices. And that's what Lupe does here. The results don't come out as great as he probably would like them to. And just audience, he reviewed his own album himself and he called it a masterpiece. So, I mean, of course he would say that, but I think people don't realize how hard it is to be an independent artist. And to see what Chance the Rapper did with no major label backing, that's really hard to do. And people don't understand it, but, and I forgot who said this, but if some artists didn't have a major label, they would probably never put out albums or have any music.
Because you still need that backing.
Yeah, you still need that backing.
Yeah, you still need that. You still need somebody to hold you.
Right. And another thing that with the major labels, they can help hold you accountable. When you're independent, when you work on your own, you might have a tendency to procrastinate. And it's hard to continue to get up unless you really have a love for it. But I'm proud of Lupe. He made the album he wanted to make. I'm not crazy about it. I think we've all expressed our various opinions about it. But, you know, it is what it is.
It's not a bad album.
No, it's not bad. It's not bad. And like Rick said, this is probably for a select audience. Everybody can't listen to this out. Well, everybody can listen to it. Because I think, and honestly, all the trap dudes, if you love trap music, you probably should be listening to this album. Be honest, because you can probably learn something. Something that will benefit you. So
I mean, and for it to be trap, it sounds better than some of this other stuff I hear, which is some nonsense. They ain't talking about nothing.
Right.
At least he's talking about something.
He's talking about something, but on the flip side, he doesn't do it with the swag that
they got.
Yeah, like he ain't got the Migos swag, Ray Shrimmer.
That's the dirty.
Right.
Yeah, they got that dirty part of them.
Right. YFN Lucci, and even Designer to an extent. Like he doesn't do it with that same swag.
Oh yeah, Designer, he's a mess. He gets that. He puts his whole energy into his thing, and he all over the place, but it works. I do think though, if he puts out the order in which he puts the singles out, this album still could be pretty successful. We'll
see what happens, and I hope it is for Lupe's sake, because he's independent now, and he'll probably get most of the money himself. And audience, just in case you're wondering, we here at the Switched Out Podcast, we actually buy music. I can't show it to you physically, but every album that we review, we actually buy. So we're not bootleggers around here. We actually support the artists that we talk about. So congrats, Lupe. Y'all got any other thoughts?
Congrats.
Well, Riggs, will you recommend this album to a friend or
to a couple?
What about you, Vaughn?
I'll pick and choose. This for you. This for you. You need to hear this.
I agree. And I'm not recommending the album. I'm not saying audience don't go out and listen.
Right.
Because there's a lot of good here. I think there's good to be found in every album. Just like, even though you got some bad people out there still might be an ounce of good in them. It might be kind of hard to filter through all the mess. Which is what this album is. You might have to filter through some stuff. Right. But eventually, you'll get to the good. And Lupe, he's a very intelligent guy. And there's a lot to be had and a lot to be learned. So congrats, Lupe. And like Vaughn said, listen to Kill.
Yes, listen to Kill.
And for the lyrics alone, listen to NGL, Ends Gonna Lose, Made in the USA, Jump,
Tranquillo,
and City of the Year, which is about his hometown, Chicago.
Yes.
And More Than My Heart.
Yes.
He said a line in there. What did he say? When you ain't got nobody to watch them kids, your mama gonna be there to watch them.
Yeah.
Or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he was right about that.
That bail money. That
right.
All that. And something he said about, I said, that's me right there. Turn that music down.
Right. Turn that stuff down.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good song. That's a good song.
So congrats, Lupe, and we wish you much success on DROGAS Light. And audience, if you're interested, I got this off of Genius. So according to Genius, DROGAS is an acronym for Don't Ruin Us, God said. And DROGAS in Spanish translates to drugs. So I'm not sure. Yeah, Lupe is. I'll leave it at this.
Kind of a double entendre type of thing.
Yeah, there's a certain genius quality in this album. As hard as that may be to believe,
Brilliance.
Yeah, there's a certain brilliance about it. As hard as it may be to believe, I'll just leave it at that. So, Riggs, you got anything else?
Nah, I'm right there with you.
Vaughn, what about you?
Hey, I think we said it all.
All right, cool. Well, let's shout some people out and go on home. Vaughn,
what's everybody listening to?
Oh, what am I listening to? I don't know. You guys know what you're listening to?
He always listens to something. Al Jarreau.
I go out there by bar.
Who?
Stupid song. I'll go out there by bar.
I'll go out there by bar. Vaughn, what about you?
What have I been listening to? A little bit of everything. Yeah, a little bit of everything. K. Michelle, I get on her.
K. Michelle.
I love me some K. Michelle. They sleeping on her. But I hope her next album is hot.
Yeah, I hope so too. She's a talented girl, and that's my homegirl. So we'll see.
Review her album, or we just spoke about it a lot.
We spoke about it. We never reviewed it, but we'll definitely get her next time. But I'm not listening to anything specifically right now outside of Lupe and probably still Big Sean. But I still go back and listen to Kehlani's album, which we talked about a couple weeks ago. But audience, go back and listen to Food and Liquor, Lupe's first album, and experience Lupe at his best, because I think that's still his best album. And Tetso and Youth was pretty good, and The Cool was good as well. So that's it for me. So let's shout some people out and we can go on home. Vaughn, what you got?
I just like to shout out you guys. It's always a pleasure to expand my music and learn different stuff. And so I thank you guys, and I would like to shout out my family and friends. Hey guys, thank you for listening. That's it.
Riggs, what about you?
Oh, same. Like to shout out my Switch Style Podcast family, all the listeners, all the people who follow us, all the new people, all the people, everywhere. It feels nice to sit here in Atlanta and, hear that, it's people that are in different continents that are checking us out. And that's a wonderful thing. I appreciate the show. It keeps me current because I'm prone to listen to, everything from 85 backwards. I'm an old school head. So, the show keeps me current. I appreciate that. So, shout out to Switch Style Podcast. Shout out to Slick Money.
Hey, Slick Money.
And that's it for right now. Yeah, rest in peace, Al.
Yeah, like Riggs said, rest in peace, Al Jarreau. And thank you, Riggs and Vaughn. Always, I sincerely appreciate you guys from the deepest part of my heart. You guys don't have to be here. You could be anywhere else, but I appreciate you both taking time.
And guess what? We appreciate you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And last but not least, thank you to the fans, everybody who listens to us. We definitely appreciate it. You could listen to any other thing. Any other thing that you want to. There's a lot more podcasts, a lot of music, a lot of movies you could be watching. But the time you do have, you take it and you spend it with us for 45 minutes to an hour, however long we're on. But thank you for that, audience, and we sincerely appreciate it. But that's it for me. So that's a wrap on episode 46 of the Switch Style Podcast.
46.
Yep. And we'll see you guys next week. So peace.
Peace.